This is something so beautiful that I don't mind reading it every time someone forwards it to my number. Approaching 60 and 70s, a friend of mine crossed 60 and is heading to 70. I asked him what's changing. He shared his thoughts. Yes, I am changing after loving my parents, my siblings, my spouse, my children, my friends. Now I have started loving myself. I just realized that I am not Atlas. The world does not rest on my shoulders. I now stopped bargaining with vegetables and fruits vendors. After all, a few pesos or USD more is not going to burn a hole in my pocket, but it might help the poor fellow save for his daughter's school fees. I pay the taxi driver without waiting for the change. The extra money might bring a smile on his face. After all, he is toiling much harder for a living than me. I stopped telling the elderly that they've already narrated that story many times. After all, the story makes them walk down the memory lane and relive the past.
I've learned not to correct people even when I know they are wrong. After all, the onus of making everyone perfect is not on me. Peace is more precious than perfection. I give compliments freely and generously. After all, it's a mood enhancer not only for the recipient, but also for me.
I've learned not to bother about a crease or a spot on my shirt. After all, personality speaks louder than appearances. I walk away from people who don't value me. After all, they might not know my worth, but I do. I remain cool when someone plays dirty politics to outrun me in the rat race. After all, I am not a rat and neither am I in any race. I am learning not to be embarrassed by my emotions. After all, it's my emotions that make me human. I have learned that it's better to drop the ego than to break a relationship. After all, my ego will keep me aloof, whereas with relationships I will never be alone. I've learned to live each day as if it's the last. After all, it might be the last. I am doing what makes me happy. After all, I am responsible for my happiness, and I owe it to me. I decided to send this along because why do we have to wait for 60s? Why can't we practice this at any stage?